Whisper Nicky Daicos handle. What's that all about, please?
Yeah, no, it's a question I get a bit. It was a nickname for me in primary school. My friendship group sort of all had a nickname for each other, and then it sort of popped up again in high school. So, yeah, that's where it stemmed from.
You know that Tim Watson's known as Whisper. He thinks that maybe you were sort of taken with him.
Yeah, I might have copied him, but we won't own up to that.
Nick, it's good to talk to you. An amazing game. Let's start there. The amazing game on Saturday night. How is it playing in a game like that? That obviously the stakes are high, but the pressure's high, and very little between the teams all night.
Yeah, it was an amazing game, 1v2, and I think it lived up to it. The crowd was roaring from start to finish, and Port Adelaide are a great side. They're obviously playing really good footy this year, so we knew they were going to bring their A game, and they were going to be a really tough team to beat over there. But, yeah, we just stuck at it. We brought the fight the whole game, and last quarter I think we were able to kick a few goals and crack through and then hold that lead. So it was a nice win.
I don't know. Do you invest much in the media and the conversations that go on around the game in the lead up to the game, and whether or not you're going to be tagged or you're not going to be tagged, and who might tag you? How much interest do you pay to that?
Yeah, it's sort of it's funny. Fly and I had this conversation a few weeks back that he was getting it most weeks in his press conference. I hadn't realised, but yeah, we sort of love playing little mind games. Fly will tell me that he'll tell the opposition to tag me, which I'm all good for. I think if I'm getting tagged, I actually think it allows another teammate to get off the leash, and we're ultimately a better team. So I look forward to the challenge on the weekend. Willem Drew, really good player, really good tagger, and it was just grind away the whole game, keep working hard, and yeah, late blocks, get blokes like Geordie and Pendles out. So it's a good challenge, and I think we're better off for it.
Do you do a lot of investigation about that particular player and what their strengths and weaknesses are? Would you sit down and watch a tape about them?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll always plan a little bit just to give me a bit of confidence going into the game of where I can maybe expose that player. I've also got the opportunity to flip positions and go forward or half back. So a lot of the time I'll know the player, and I'll know if Will and Drew can play half back for Port Adelaide or not. So generally it's a positional shift for me to get involved and give ourselves a different look. But a lot of the time we like exploiting the opposition with me around the ball. We think that if they're going to tag, it can generally create a bit of confusion for their team defence.
I was going to ask you that about how immersed you get in the tactical side of it, and opposition analysis, and you've been around footy for a long, long time. You've been watching Dad and around Clubland and then at the elite program. So sometimes when you get to the stage you're at and the level of celebrity you've got, without wanting to embarrass you, that just to get away from footy is the thing that you most like, but there are others that just walk back towards it. Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I still love my footy just as much as when I started. I always remember being a young kid at Auskick, and I always hold on to that feeling. I still feel the same way when I run out onto the Holden Centre or the MCG to play it. I'm in a very fortunate position, and as you touched on, we're very lucky. We've got Jordan Roughhead at the club that does oppo analysis during the week, and I find all that stuff really interesting. He's doing a great job. I'll often go to him and sort of quiz him about the opposition. But yeah, as I said, I find a good balance, I think, off-field. I'm very lucky with Dad. Dad's really good with property, and he's sort of kept that side of things interesting for me, and another little hobby. And then, yeah, I still love my footy just as much as when I started. So I love coming into the club and getting to work.
Well, my mail is, Nick, that Dad is trying to push into a bit of property, but you and Josh continue to go online and buy all these clothes from America. Is that right?
I don't know who's giving you that mail. That might be Josh. He's into his fashion, so he's spending up a little bit on clothes. But no, I'm with Dad. I'm trying to look into some property. And
is he built like a little nice little, not a granny flat, because you're not the granny, you're the son. Is there a flat being built in the backyard somewhere?
A sunny flat.
Yeah, sunny flat. Yes.
No, there's not. We're renovating a home, family home at the moment, which is exciting. We're really looking forward to moving in, and it will be a lot closer to the G. So I think Dad's looking forward to just walking across the games.
Oh, magnificent. Hey, we spoke to Zach Quaynor, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, post-game, and we're talking about the fact that you were his training buddy over the summer months, and he was very complimentary of your work rate and how hard you went at it, and that you'd increased your bench press from 80 to 120, and then we turned around and said, is he going to go past you? And he had a smile on his face. He said, he'll never get me. So talk us through the relationship you got with Isaac.
Yeah, no, he's been amazing since I've come into the club. He's a really hard worker, and it's really nice to see him playing such good footy now and getting recognised for how hard he works and the role he plays within our team and our system. I went to train with Isaac and Josh during the pre-season at a local gym, and we just got to work. So, the bench press went up, the numbers, but I don't think I'll be catching Isaac. He's still 5 kilos ahead of me, He's sort of dangling the carrot. But, we all got to work, and it's nice to see us all sort of now enjoying it and the team going well and being rewarded.
We're talking to Nick Daicos, young Collingwood star, and Jamie Elliott. We love Jamie Elliott and the way that he plays and the clutch goals that he's been able to kick too. Possibly handballing the ball to somebody in the goal square is not something that he's been known to do. What did you think when he gave the ball to Taylor Adams in the goal square? Yeah,
I thought that was an amazing moment. I think that sort of shows the culture we're building. When you've got a small forward that can often have days where there's little supply, or you might not get close to the ball due to us mids not getting it in, and then when he does get an opportunity for an easy goal, he gives it off. I think that says a lot about Jamie and his character. And also, as I said, the culture we're building. He'd rather see, I think he said after the game, he'd rather see the smile on Tay's face than Jamie kick the goal himself. So, that sort of selflessness is going to go a long way for us. And incredible moment from Jamie. We appreciate all the hard work he does, the pressure, the clutch goals, the marking. But I think when you see acts like that from him, it really inspires us.
Talking to Nick Daicos ahead of the big Peter McCallum Cup game on Friday night between the Blues and the Pies. It's going to be massive, as it always is. I think in time we're going to look back at Craig McRae as a real transformational character in footy. I think we're all embracing what he's doing, but he's bucking the trend of what coaches had sort of become. Give us an insight into him from your own point of view and your relationship with him, because I love what he's doing. I love how open he is. I love how honest he is and respectful, and I think he's going to have a really big impact on this game.
Yeah, I sort of wouldn't know where to start. I could point out so many things that Fly does well. I feel so grateful to have him as my coach. He's such a humble figure. He constantly reminds us how grateful he is to be the head coach of Collingwood. And I think everyone's got a friendship relationship with him also. Like I feel like I can just go up, walk up to him and talk to him, which I know a lot of players don't feel with their head coaches. And he's so humble, so caring, so genuine. He's created a really loving environment where he encourages us to bring families in and really be amongst it all and live it with us. So I think we're all so close for that. But yeah, he's been amazing for me personally too. He'll constantly check in with me. As I said, he's constantly looking for ways to support me and every other player on the list. And he's very process-driven. He preaches that about being process-driven. And you walk into the club Monday not knowing if we won or lost. We just get to work again. And I think that's been really good for my footy. I've just gotten to work, and we all have, and it's been great. He just preaches, it doesn't matter if we win or lose, we get to work and we go again, and we want to make our supporters proud. So I'm so fortunate to have him as my head coach, and hopefully for a few more years.
And do you like the themes that he builds around games and styles? I know you talked about this briefly last week about, I get the pronunciation right, the domestique, and what all that means and how that refers back to the way you play.
Yeah, I love it. I think it keeps it interesting. Obviously, sometimes it can be a little bit of a long year, and Fire's always got little themes to keep it interesting. And the last 4-week block's sort of been around the Tour de France, which has been really fun, and the boys have really relished it. We've loved it. He keeps it interesting, and yeah, he's very relaxed in his job. He knows the job at hand, and we all know what we need to get done, but I think he keeps the fun side to it, which is so important. So
this is a question that's come to us via our text machine, Nick. So we're getting a lot of feedback as we're talking to you, and it's all positive, which is unusual because it's not always the way. But Nick out there wants to know how you're handling, and this is a really good question about, you are probably the most recognisable, or right now, this, not from your own point of view, because I love your humility, but your sense of celebrity out there is at an all-time high. So what's day-to-day like for you? Walking out, Collingwood have always got big profiles. I mean, how are you handling that level of recognition and adulation, if you like?
Yeah, I guess, as you said, Collingwood going so well. We're a really big team, and I think a lot of the boys are still adjusting to sort of the outside world and all the noise. We go to the airport and there's Collingwood fans waiting for us, and we're super grateful. We know the impact we can have, and I've seen that firsthand going into Peter Mac this week, putting a smile on people's faces and what it means to those cancer patients. And I'm very grateful to be in the position I'm in. I've worked very hard to be here, but at the same time, I'm super lucky. It's a position I've always dreamed of being in, and I always hold on to that gratitude whenever I get asked for a photo in the streets. I remember myself being a 4 or 5-year-old and going up to Buddy Franklin or whoever it was so nervously and asking for a photo, and they always gave me the time of day. So I always keep that in mind, and I'm just super grateful to be in the position I'm in.
Well, famously, you barracked for...
Great answer.
Great answer. You barracked... Did you... I want to get this right. You did barrack for Carlton as a kid, is that right? Yeah. So when did you switch across to Collingwood, or you still got a little soft spot for Carlton?
No, I think when I was 6 or 7, I went for Carlton for a year or so. I love Mark Murphy and Chris Jardine. I went over to the dark side for a little bit, but I think just before 2010, coincidentally, I came back to Collingwood, and the flag was won, and forever been black and white since then.
Now, I don't know whether you're familiar with this or not, that Dylan Shield, the Essendon player, has released a pair of boots. I think they're called the DS09s, are they, Gary?
Something like that.
His own boot. Gary and I both think that if there's any player in the competition right now that should be producing their own boot, it's you, Nick. Have you been giving some thought to that?
No, I haven't, to be honest. I'm pretty focused on week to week with what we're doing at the club. We're closing in on finals, obviously, a very busy time. Maybe one day in the future I could release my own boot. I don't know if it'd be too popular, but good on Dylan. It's good to see AFL sort of adventuring out that way. I know that basketball does a lot of custom shoes and boots, and it's good on him. That's good for him, but I think I'm still a while off that.
Hey, we'll let you go in a minute. Just outside of footy, so a bit of property. The Wisps touched on the fashion. Tim's a 61-year-old groover. He likes to know what's going on in the fashion world. What are some of the labels he should be having a look at?
There's a few labels. There's Josh is actually working on a little label at the moment, which hopefully will come out towards the end of the year. But Acme Studios seems to be pretty popular at the club. Geordie's rolling around with Gucci handbags. So they pretty popular in Geordie's head. I don't know. There's a variety of fashion at the club, but we're all inclusive. We're enjoying it.
Love it. Hey,
you're in good hands. You've got a great coach. You've got a great old man.
Robbie Durazio looking after you.
And a good manager too, yeah.
Is he looking after you, old Rob Ginepri, or not?
He is. He's a good man. He's been great for me. Like you said, I've got very fortunate to have Dad and my family, and then also a good manager in Robbie. He's been great for the footy side of things, but then you can also just call him and have a genuine chat to him, and he's often checked in after games with me just to see how I'm tracking, and regardless of how I play, he'll call me and see how I'm going mentally, and if I'm happy, and I really appreciate that from him. He's also been really good with off-field opportunities, and I think he sort of got something in store for myself, Josh, and a couple other players he manages, which will hopefully be also coming out towards the end of the year. So, he's been great.
We'll look forward to that.
Very excited. Hey, you've been great to chat with. Just a quick one on Mum, Colleen, because there's a lot talked about Dad, but Mum's been there for every step of the way as well. I remember watching you when you were a tiny little kid, and Mum and Dad were. Dad's always been there, but Mum's been a massive supporter.
No, Mum's been amazing. She probably doesn't enjoy the spotlight and tries to hide from it, but she definitely deserves so much credit for helping raise Josh and I and the people we are today. It's going to be an emotional week for Mum with cancer, and we'll wrap our arms around her with what she had to experience with her mum and losing her sister too. So, we'll wrap our arms around her, and we hope she's okay this week.
Good on you, mate. Thanks so much for giving us some time. The footy competition is all the better for having you in it, and Josh, so continued success.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Go on you, Nick.
Nick Daicos there, the Peter McCallum Cup. It's Friday night. It is Collingwood and Carlton, and if you can support that great cause anywhere, anytime, then you would do so.
He's a 10 out of 10.
He's hard to fault.